The title says it all. I'm moving to Korea. So I'll be leaving where I'm at right now, which is London, Ontario, and I'll be moving to a province in Korea called Gyeonggi-do. It's the surrounding area of Seoul. I don't actually know if I'll be placed near a city or if I'm going to be in more of a rural area, and I won't find that out until I'm already in Korea, which is really scary, but it is what it is. I applied through a program called EPIC, which is run through the government. It's like a cultural exchange kind of teaching program. And, I'll be placed in a school and I'll be the English language teaching kind of assistant. So I'm supposed to always have like a co-teacher with me, which is great because although I have like some mild teaching experience, I don't have my teaching license. It's a good way to kind of ease myself into it. I am nervous about the lack of experience for sure, but I'm also a super anxious person. So there's no way that I'm not going to do a good job. I'd just be really embarrassed. So I've been doing a lot of research on like lesson planning and how to teach English. I had to get a TEFL, which is like a English teaching certificate. Although I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit shady. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if any of them are like that much fancier, but I didn't want to go to an actual university to take the course because it was going to be around $900 to $1,000, which I don't have to burn right now. So I'll do my best with the resources that I do have at hand. But yeah, I'm going to Korea. This is something that I've kind of wanted to do since university, since I started thinking about wanting to travel. Thing is, I'm not much of a touristy kind of traveler. The idea of like only having 10 days in a country and having to just like trek around from place to place and like being kind of forced into tourist traps doesn't really sound good to me. It sounds exhausting. I'd much rather do this at a slower pace, and I feel like you don't get to know a culture unless you like really just experience the day-to-day like monotonous things. Because I'm not rich, I could never actually just fly somewhere and live there, obviously, so I'd have to work. Honestly, the stuff that I went to school for and the soft skills or like the academic skills that I have aren't really transferable in many industries outside of social ones like teaching. So why not give it a go? I found Korea to be the one that offered the best perks in terms of guaranteeing you an apartment. That's probably one of the scariest things that I could think of, is having to navigate the rental system in a different country when you don't speak the language and don't know anyone in the country and like don't have anyone to help you. The pay isn't fantastic, to be honest. The government program hasn't increased pay since like the early 2000s. Back then it was like great salary, but because of inflation since then, it's very basic. I think I would be making less in terms of minimum wage than I would here in Canada. However, because you don't have to pay for your own apartment, it evens out. I'm also like a very thrifty person, so I'll do okay with the amount of money that they pay like newbies. I'm not really concerned about that aspect. I think I'll do okay. I know how to budget. I've been living in London on basically zero income because I ended up being let go from my job. Oh, let go sounds like I got fired. The company basically closed down and got taken over by new people who honestly seemed very sketchy. So when they were trying to kind of recruit people back, they gave me a lot of like red flaggy vibes. So I decided not to go back. So I've been unemployed for the last few months. I've been surviving just fine. To be fair, I have savings, so that's that. But being unemployed versus being unemployed, knowing that you will have future employment, is like a completely different vibe. It's not the same amount of stress. So that's been kind of nice. It's been a really fun application process. And by fun, I mean long and tedious. It wasn't actually that difficult. It's just more like there's just a lot of steps and a lot of bureaucracy, I feel like, which I know makes sense because they're kind of trying to see if you're willing to go above and beyond. But here's everything that I've had to do since January/February. So I got in contact with the recruitment company to help me along with the process. I had an interview with them. Then it was time to fill out the online application, which I did. It took me several days. There's like an essay portion component, a bunch of personal details. I had to like dig up like elementary school that I went to in Moldova and stuff, because you have to write out your entire academic history. There was also a lesson plan component, so I had to kind of figure out like what did they want out of a lesson plan, especially from someone that doesn't have an experience teaching like a large classroom of children. I also don't do well with like not having like basic instructions, right? Because in my head I'm like, well, what kind of class are we talking about? What grade level? What are the expectations for those grade levels? Is it a more advanced class? Is it a bit more behind class? Like it was a lot, but whatever. I did it. Ended up being okay. Ended up being approved. There wasn't much I had to fix. And then it was just all a waiting game until you received word for the interview. Oh, I forgot. For the initial application, I also had to get 2 recommendation letters. One of them was fine. I got it from my job working at the time. The other one I had to get from an old professor who I haven't reached out to in 3 years because of COVID and stuff. So that was really awkward, and I had to get them to sign it. The thing is though, the application requires for you to eventually send in hard copies of the letters. So it's not like hey, can you email me a recommendation letter? It's like, hey, I need you to email me one, and then eventually I'm going to have to get your physical signature. So that's fun. Whatever. I got approved for an interview. I then did the interview. It was really nerve-wracking because there's also a presentation component of the interview where you have to pretend you're doing a little lesson for them, but you don't know what kind of sort of topic they're going to ask you. It could be the one that you put on the application, or it could be something that they just thought of. A common one was kind of feelings for a 5th grade. So then you'd have to figure that out on the spot. So I tried to come up with a few different scenarios so that I wouldn't be going in with absolutely nothing. But the interview went great. I think the interviewer really liked me. It was really nice. It was really smooth. So I passed that part. After the interview process, it was then time to send in physical documents. So I had to go up to Toronto for that because I had to get specific signatures from downtown offices. So I had to get my diploma and a criminal background check, which cost me $100. I needed to get those apostilled, which was extra money as well. Then I had to go to downtown and get my documents authenticated by some sort of government office. And then after that, I had to make an appointment with the Korean consulate so that they could approve the documents. Then I had to ship them to Korea to be double checked. And then after that, it was a waiting game to see if everything is all right. They take the documents from there. They kind of recommend them to the Office of Education in Korea, and then you have to just sit around and wait for a placement. There was a bit of drama with that though. Epic reached out with a placement suggestion. It was a job at a language center. So it's kind of a place where, multiple schools would go for kind of a field trip or a retreat for their kids. They had really cool rooms, like a broadcast station and cooking station. So it would have been very non-traditional learning. It looked really awesome, but it was in the middle of nowhere, you guys, nowhere, nothing close to a city. It scared me really bad because, I'm really used to city living. And honestly, living in London, Ontario right now, kind of on the outskirts of the city almost, I feel very stuck. And because I don't drive, it's not easy to get anywhere. And I'm sure as hell not going to be driving in Korea. So it just really scared me. I don't want to be relying on transportation in a small town to get me around anywhere. Plus, I'd like to do some traveling. But I think what scared me off the most was that I was going to be doing solo teaching instead of having a co-teacher. And I just don't feel comfortable jumping into something like this right away. So I was really butthurt about it. Or burdened with it almost. I didn't want to be offered that position. I just wanted to get a regular placement and go. I really struggled with decision making. So having that choice and then having to constantly think through it, I was really worried if I rejected it that Epic wouldn't place me anywhere because they'd be upset that I rejected it. Epic seems to really value flexibility from people. So I was worried this proves that I'm not flexible. And so they're just gonna put me on the bottom of the stack and forget about me. So I was really, for a week there, I was really stressed, but it worked out fine. I got placed in Gyeonggi-do. Still might be a role, but I think at least I'll be within a few hours of Seoul or just closer to another city within the province. But yeah, there's so many things that I have to get ready. I've been trying to get rid of some of my clothing. I have so many things and I've been trying to, at the same time, go shopping and thrifting for more outfits because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been neglecting my closet for such a long time. I have really atrocious fits, okay? I have really atrocious fits. A lot of stuff doesn't fit, or maybe I don't really feel comfortable in. You know, I've had to really face a lot of my like body insecurities, because if I think I'm thick here, I'm definitely gonna be thick in Korea. So I've been really trying to like come to some sort of acceptance of like, listen, like you're allowed to exist in the body that you have anywhere in the world, regardless of beauty standards. Plus, you know, like you don't meet the beauty standards here. So like, who cares if you also don't meet them somewhere else, right? Plus, you know, like I'm built like a, I'm built like a European farmer. Like I'm just built like that. Like it's never gonna change. So that is what it is. But the idea of packing everything up into like a 1 or 2 small suitcases is insane. I'm so stressed. Do you know how many art supplies I have? And I don't know which ones to bring, which ones to kind of leave stored in my parents' place, and then which ones to just sell because they won't last very long. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't actually know how I'm gonna do this. I'm like an anxious person by nature. Sometimes I have trouble like doing things here. Now I'm like gonna be doing them in Korea, but like with no language. It's okay. I've started learning Korean. I know how to say a few things. Oh, here's a sentence I know. 저는 이제 돈이 없어요. I don't have money now. I think I learned that after like going out with a girls' night. No, a girls' weekend trip. And I was like, now I don't have any money left. What else do I know? 동물원, that's zoo, right? Maybe I said that wrong. 세탁기? I don't know why that's coming up randomly. I know a lot more. Okay, listen. Next time I'll show you everything I learned. I'm really embarrassed right now. I've been making some progress, okay? I have an app, and I mostly use that app, and then I've been meaning to kind of start like a new K-drama with the language learner extension for Netflix, and slowly kind of learn from speech, but it's really helpful because it has like the subtitles, like when you hover over them, it'll give you translation, like direct translation almost, right? Not just like a, you know, interpretation from a translator. So you can kind of figure out sentence structure, but within context of people actually communicating. Whew, I'm so nervous. I'm also really excited though. I don't really know what I'm doing in life. I don't know how long I'll stay in Korea. The contracts are a year long, but always there is an option of renewing. So we'll really just see where life takes me. I don't really have any like long-term plans for my future anyways. So I'm down to just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. So yeah, I'll be flying out sometime in August. They don't actually tell you when all of this is going to happen. So I'll let you guys know, and I'll take you along with me for the journey. And you know, any updates going forward, I'll try to vlog them. Wish me good luck. Wish me good luck, guys. There's so many things to think about. What do I bring? Packing list. They don't have much deodorant there. I gotta bring like months of supply of deodorant. What art supplies do I bring? That's like such an important question to me. I don't want to overdo it, and I can buy art supplies there, but I also like don't want to be wasteful and like have too much of something. I'm gonna really have to think about it. I have to also move out of here. I have to like pack everything, and I'm leaving Amanda, and then I'm leaving Junie at home with my. Okay, next time. Next time. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. Bye. Guess what, babes? Guess what, babes? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I'm going to Korea, bitches.